One of the funniest wills was left by actor Charlie Chaplin. The famous comedian promised $1 million to anyone who could let 5 rings of smoke out of his mouth and pass through them another 6th. The task turned out to be virtually impossible. At least until today, no one had ever been able to do it. On May 4, 1878, Thomas Edison first publicly demonstrated the phonograph he had invented. When a voice sounded during the phonograph demonstration, the guests thought they were being fooled by a ventriloquist. Many invited guests thought the sound reproduction was magic, so Edison was dubbed the Menlo Park Wizard, a 13th century house that survived 2 world wars in the 20th century alone. It is located in the French town of Villefranche-de-Rouergue. It is also called the House of Jean after the last owner, a local artist. The pistol commander Anthony Joseph Drexel Biddle, master of hand-to-hand combat in the U.S. Marine Corps, 1943. He was known for ordering the Marines to try to kill him with bayonets and for disarming them all. During the Middle Ages, mummies were consumed in Europe. It was believed that mummies were a medicinal substance from the Egyptian pyramids that could cure any disease. Mummies were sold both in pieces, together with bandages, and in the form of powder, which doctors recommended to add to food. Counting years in ancient times was not as important as determining the changing seasons. That is why years were counted differently in different countries. In ancient Egypt, they counted from the beginning of the pharaoh's reign, and when a new ruler came to power, the counting of years began anew. Shoes and clothing of South Vietnamese soldiers abandoned for transition to civilian status. The fall of Saigon on April 30, 1975. In March 1521, Magellan's team reached the Mariana Islands and then landed in the Philippines, where Magellan himself died in a clash with the locals. His team managed to reach the Moluccas Islands. 3 years later, only one ship with 17 sailors returned home. Magellan's first circumnavigation of the globe proved that the Earth has a spherical shape. As a young man, Barack Obama was very fond of smoking weed, for which he earned the nickname Barack Oganja. In 1952, after the death of the first president of Israel, the post was offered to Albert Einstein. The great scientist, after some deliberation, refused, citing his lack of experience in government and his inability to work with people. The autoped is an early type of scooter or motor scooter that was produced from 1915 to 1921 by the Autoped Company, located on Long Island in New York City. The photo shows letter carriers on gasoline-powered scooters. Reminds me of today's electric scooters, doesn't it? Hand warmers, 1450. A smoldering coal was placed inside, the heat of which was to warm the hands holding the ball. The phrase, "the customer is always right," was coined in 1909 by Harry Selfridge, the founder of a London department store of the same name. The phrase is commonly used to convince customers that they will be perfectly served here, to get the staff to serve customers beautifully. This is what the first patented refrigerator looked like. Inventor Albert Marshall of the United States patented the refrigerator August 8, 1899,